the team for
FA Cup champions.
Another warm welcome to Around the Wickets on ThePapare.com, and we're going to talk about lots of cricket and cricket alone. Well, we're going to start off with some wonderful news with Sri Lanka trouncing the Proteas by a massive margin, 278 runs inside 3 days. Now that was one of the quickest victories got by Sri Lanka or established by Sri Lanka, and I can tell you that the South African batsmen had no chance at all. They had no clue about the Sri Lankan spinners. Now we want to talk about it. Farveez Maharoof with me, and before I really go into the details, I'm not going to sort of talk about what happened because we all know, but we rather analyze it and understand where it went wrong for the Proteas. Thank you for joining us, Maha. What are your thoughts? Where did you think the South Africans actually lost? I have a few thoughts, but I'll rather let you speak.
I thought, as you correctly said, they had no idea to play the spin. I mean, I'm watching from the TV. I mean, whenever spinners roll their arm more, it looked like the wicket was falling any moment. And I thought they look rusty, South African, especially the batting lineup. I mean, they're coming after break from cricket. So they definitely look rusty, whereas our boys, just from West Indies, having that match practices, that had a factor for me, and also batting first in that wicket did play a part. But definitely the South Africans looked rusty and had no clue about where does it spin, which is going straight, which is going to spin, and it's complete demolition job.
Yeah. Now my next question that I would like to pose to you is, as a visiting team, do you think they had enough match practice going into the first test? I mean, you played just a 2-day game and you go into a test match in Galle. I'm not complaining as a Sri Lankan. I don't think Sri Lankans will. But let's assume that Sri Lanka goes to Australia, Sri Lanka goes to England in May, where the ball moves around. If you could just play one first-class game and go into a test match, I think that's not enough. So in that context, do you think touring teams need to pay a little bit more attention?
I mean, it depends. I mean, practice in the nets is different, practice in the middle is different.
Exactly.
That's exactly from cricketer's point of view. And also, looking at the South African lineup for me, I mean, they're playing 3 quicks. In Sri Lankan conditions, I think they're wasting one fast bowler there. They could easily play a batsman or a spinning all-rounder. I mean, we got the combination right. From our combination side, I would like to see one more fast bowler, because I'm not a big fan of playing one fast bowler. But if you play the way that we did, I mean, we are good enough to carry on the same level. But coming back to question, I think I'm a big fan of having more time to climatize. For the conditions especially, I mean, especially South Africa coming from their home country, which is winter, said to the peak of summer for us. In a spinning wicket, I mean, they found wanting, and we were just marvelous. I mean, we just came back from a tremendous tour from West Indies, and it looked that we were in a role, whereas the South African looks rusty.
Yeah, they definitely did look rusty, and one man who didn't look rusty was Dimuth Karunaratne. He just batted on and on and on. I think we must give him credit, and we must give him some space in this program, just to try and let you know what he did. 8th Test century as an opener, 4th in the first innings. In fact, he's the 4th Sri Lankan after Siddharth Wettemuni, Marwan Atapattu and Russell Arnold to carry his bat through an innings. Amazing effort indeed. Then in terms of the percentage of runs he scored in the first innings, he got more than 55% of the runs that Sri Lanka scored. Now only 7 other Sri Lankans have scored a higher percentage of runs in a completed test innings. Gurusinha, well, he got 52 out of 82. Now we don't want to talk about it, but let's talk about Dimuth Karunaratne. Then also, he became the 3rd Sri Lankan to score 100 in his 50th test match. Dilshan got twin hundreds in Chittagong. Sanath Jayasuriya got 100. And then, of course, Karunaratne's 218 were more than what, 218 in the match that is, were more than what South Africans 20 wickets together got. So that tells you the dominance. Now, dwell a little bit more on this test match. Can I ask you? Now, I felt that the critical moments of the game were Sri Lanka recovering from 176 for 8 to 287 on day 1, and then on day 2, that massive lead of 161 out of 287. These were the defining little phases for me. Do you agree? Do you think there was a little bit more than that, or just those two were the factors?
I mean, I completely agree with you. I mean, last 2 wickets, 111 runs, that actually made the difference. Any form of cricket, I mean, especially Test cricket, any conditions, first innings lead is gold. That's exactly what we had with Lakmal and Sandakan partnership with Dimuth. I mean, speaking about Dimuth, I mean, he looked a guy batting a different surface.
Exactly.
Where from other players, I mean, other batters from both sides actually struggled with the whatever was on offer, reverse swing or spin. But when it comes to Dimuth, I mean, he looked more composed, guy who looked in form, got 100 before he played the test match in the A-team against Bangladesh. It looked definitely when he came into bat that he's someone that, on a mission. I mean, he coming after an injury, and I thought he looked fresh, and I mean, as you correctly said, he just looked class apart from the others.
Well, one thing that was also a surprise to me, I had in fact tweeted about this, that what Rangana Herath told me about his retirement plans. Now, I know there were speculations. They were saying that Herath may call it a day after the England tour, but we got the great man telling us that, in an interview on day 3. Now, so it's Rangana Herath's era is fast running out. So he's got how many test matches? 4 more test matches to go, fitness permitting. Let's hope he does and goes off on high. But what next for Sri Lanka? Now, Dilruwan Pereira had a magnificent effort. He had a brilliant match bag of 10 wickets. Do you think that it will be Dilruwan Pereira that will really be taking on the mantle of the chief spinner as Herath now decides to call it a day? Do you think Dilruwan was ready for that?
I definitely think so. I mean, Rangana, as we heard in the 3rd day, he said that after the England series will be his last. I mean, just to see how out of 3 test matches whether he's going to play all 3, or else make it at least 2 or something like that. But coming back to Dilruwan, I thought he's been tremendous and he's ready for the mantle. And even Dilruwan is going to be 35 or something. So we need to find more spinners to get into the act. But for the moment, as you said, I think Dilruwan is the next big thing when it comes to Rangana's retirement. He has to take the mantle, and probably hopefully he'll have 1 or 2 years of Test cricket for us, and that's enough time for us to graduate the next spinner coming forward to take it up.
Yeah, quite a few spinners thought of. We already got Lakshant Sandakan, we got Akila Dhananjaya, or both of them waiting in the wings. We got some young spinners coming through. We got the Jayasuriya from Coles, Aponso, the left arm spinner, and I think there's some guy from your club, Ambuldenia. Yep. He's been thought of highly. Nishan Piris, a tall off spinner. So there are few spinners that are coming through. Let's hope that we will have enough time to groom them and get to the next level. Well, that's as far as the test match is concerned, but I'm afraid we got some disturbing news as we got into the program, and that is about the ICC decision on Chandimal, Hathurusingha and Gurusinha, where they have been officially banned, suspended from 2 test matches and 4 one-day international. Now, before I get into Farveez Maharoof's thought, I honestly feel that I had no doubts that they were guilty. They should have never brought the game into disrepute and not play for 2 hours. That is unpardonable. That is non-negotiable. But my point is, they had pleaded guilty. They were willing to accept their mistake. Now, in that scenario, my only question to you is a thought. I'll ask him also. Is it fair to mete out the harshest punishment to a man or men who have come forward and said, look, we are sorry, we accept our mistakes, we won't do it again? I think it's a little bit too harsh. What do you think?
I definitely think so as well. It's definitely not too harsh. I mean, giving the maximum once we pleaded guilty, once 3 guys pleaded guilty, and definitely harsh. And it shows ICC is taking, the hard steps going forward. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they are consistent in their punishments. Whoever pleads guilty in the future, I mean, they have to be consistent now. They have set the benchmark. Now it has the bar can go up, can't come down. So I think I will definitely agree with you. It's definitely harsh, but the reality is that we just have to move on. And it's a good time for these 3 to reflect back and take a bit of breather, because there's a lot of cricket coming in from the positive side. To take it forward from there.
Yeah, one thing I also like ICC to look at is the consistency in handing out punishments at the match referee level. Now, this punishment was handed out by the ICC, who conducted the commissioner who conducted the inquiry, because it went beyond the match referee's situation. But I honestly like to see match referees interpreting the laws more consistently, because we have seen I don't want to go into details, where match referees have meted out a 50% match fine for offences that we might, consider as very, very little or minor, whilst, greater offences have been given 25%. I mean, we can list out the next time if we want to, we can do that. But I think, Maha, that part also is something that the ICC seriously need to look at.
I mean, definitely. I mean, if you take the consistency, but I think they are very inconsistent. I mean, especially
they're consistently inconsistent.
Consistently inconsistent, because what I'm saying that Faf in the last interview you said that even a chewing gum can be chewed. So that is also sweet in the end. So there are little things. Fine tuning has to be done overall.
Yeah.
And I think they had to be consistently. I mean, for me, I'm very disappointed the way they have treated our three people. So. I'm interested to see something going forward with their new benchmark what they have set up now.
Yeah, let's see how the ICC progresses. We have no doubt that the intentions are very clear. We are only questioning the final decision because we felt that after all they pleaded guilty, they've accepted, they put their hands up, and they have said they're sorry. Anyway, let's move on. Let's look at the second test coming up, Sri Lanka versus South Africa. It's going to happen at the SSC. Now we got some news about the South African side. Shamsi's gone back for some personal reasons. Family matters. Now, how much of an impact would that be? I think he looked to me in his second test match a seasoned player. I like what I saw coming out of him with his delivery. How much of an impact would that be?
I mean, it definitely be lost. If it's a similar wicket to Galle at SSC, I think it'll be a big lose, because he's a guy who looked like putting our batsmen in trouble, and some of our batsmen didn't pick him as well. So in case if he doesn't turn up in time, I think it'll be a big lose for them going forward with just one recognized spinner. And another leg spinner who's not even made his first class debut as an all-rounder. So, a big loss for South Africans there.
Yeah, certainly not good news for the South African camp, because you lose one of your better performers from the Galle Test match. And talking to Faf du Plessis at the post-match, he also said that they'll have to look at the combination. 6-5 as against 7-4. So that's something they spoke of, because Vernon Philander bowled just 11 overs in the match.
Exactly. I mean, that's why, as I said, 3 fast bowlers in Sri Lanka in these conditions, I think.
Not even for reversing, you think?
I mean, we got Kagiso Rabada and Dale Steyn consistently over 140. Unless Vernon plays as an all-rounder, especially his batsman. I think they could, Vernon is a fantastic bowler, the conditions right. But I don't think in these conditions his bowling suits that much, unless with the new ball. I mean, Galle, it looked very friendly. Yeah.
Right. So what about the Sri Lankan side? Do you think Sri Lanka will go with an unchanged team?
I think so. I mean, why change it?
Why change a winning combination?
Exactly. I mean, I know there are a few batsmen who fail, but they definitely deserve another chance. I mean, the wicket wasn't easy.
Yeah.
And, they definitely deserve another chance. And why change 11 when you trash one of the world-class team in 2.5 days?
If I rephrase it, just one batsman performed, everyone else failed.
Exactly. I mean, Angie's 35 in the second innings. I thought he grinded out, and he knew that in those conditions he couldn't give a lead. So, apart from Angie's 35 and Dimut's magnificent batting, I thought everyone else struggled. Right.
So Sri Lanka, we think, might go in with an unchanged side. But then we got some friends out here, some tourists out here. Indian under-19 touring Sri Lanka. They will be playing 2 youth test matches, 5 ODIs against the Sri Lankan side, and that starts on the 17th of July. And Nipun Dahanayaka of Joseph Vaz College, Venapur, will be leading the Sri Lanka under-19. Now that's a huge amount of credit to that college. Generally, we have seen players from more the Colombo, the Western Province schools leading, but well done to him. Joseph Vaz College, the Sri Lanka under-19 captain. And the good news is that you can watch the live action on ThePapare.com, Dialogue Television, channel number 1, and Dialogue My TV. So you can catch the action on cricket on all those channels. Now, we're coming into almost the last bit of our program. Now, I want to ask you a question. We've been talking about Dimuth Karunaratne, so we thought it's appropriate that we ask you a question involving him. Now, tell us, what is Dimuth Karunaratne's highest test score? Do you know that? Good. No. So let's ask them. Otherwise, you might be telling them the answer. Well, last week's question, we asked you when did Sri Lanka last win a test against South Africa? The answer, 2011, before winning the first test at Galle last Saturday. Sri Lanka's last test win against South Africa was back in 2011. My goodness, it was at Boxing Day at Dublin. Durban.
Durban.
What am I saying? Not Dublin, Durban. And that team was captained by Tilakaratne Dilshan. And go check who got the wickets. I don't have to tell you the name. Well, that's the story on Around the Wickets on ThePapare.com. We hope you enjoyed it. Join us again. Until we see you again, it's goodbye.